In this video, I'm going to go through how to master bidding strategies. This is going to be part 2. We're going to take a look at prime day look back periods. So if you didn't catch part 1, check back on my last video just before this one. All right, so let's dig in here. So in the last part 1 of the master bidding strategies, I talked through my process of how I use confidence to decide on what bidding strategy I'll end up using. So I end up using inch up bidding, target bid, where there's 0 orders, and then target bid where there's more than 0 orders. So, and as that kind of increases, my confidence level increases. As my confidence level increases, my bidding strategy increases. So I'll have conservative, moderate, and aggressive bidding. However, there's some nuances to this. So this system or this style of bidding only works if your look back periods or the data that you're looking at is accurate and reliable. However, on Amazon, you're constantly hit with different types of seasonality, different holidays, and all that, where we have to consider these look back periods when these are performing the bidding. So I'm going to go through two kind of breakdowns, case studies, going through a bidding life cycle of a typical target. And then you can kind of see the impact of what happens when you're not doing this or not paying attention to this. So this is why it's important to really nail down your look back periods and find a tool to be able to ignore or blacklist certain days. So this first example here at the very top, this is just a theoretical example of Prime Day. So this is nothing new. You might have a target that's been running. You consistently get anywhere between, in this case, 40 to 55, 60 clicks on any normal regular day, non-Prime Day. And then on Prime Day, it blows up. You get significantly more clicks, but it also affects the days prior as well as the days after. Mainly conversion rate and leading up to it. Usually you'll have a lot more window shoppers at this time. Day of, your conversion rate spikes, and then days after, your conversion rate starts to is much lower, but then starts to pick up again and become more of a regular day. So depending on the niche, depending on the product, the amount of days before and after will be different. However, the point is to really understand why look back periods are so important and why you need to look at them. So the way that this is, this theoretical example, we have clicks, we have orders, we have the selling price, and then we have conversion rate. So you can kind of see in the conversion rate, this product generally will have like a 10%, maybe 10 to 13% conversion rate on average. And then on Prime Day, it spikes up to 30 to 35%. And then days leading after, it starts up slow, but then again, it starts to ramp up back to its normal, typical conversion rate. So if you take the formula that we apply on target bid divided by revenue, or the target bid revenue-based bidding, which is revenue over clicks, that's basically what I'm doing here. So this is just aggregate data, and this is the daily data. So you got 42 plus 40 gives you 82. So this is just aggregate of all the days combined. So then we have a look back period of over 26 days here once you get to the end of it, but the concept is the same. So we have all this aggregate data, and then we have all the aggregate orders, which we can then multiply that by selling price, which will give us our revenue. So then when you apply revenue divided by clicks, you're going to get this base formula, and then from this base formula you multiply that by your target ACOS or your goal, and then you get your bid. But it's always going to get capped off if the bid is above your max bid that you set. So when we take a look at this, The problem that we can see right away is if we consider this 30% conversion rate, and we're now here in the like after post Prime Day, and what does our bids do? Our bids are actually going to come down slower because this period right here on Prime Day spiked up sales and makes it appear that the revenue per click, or the base for revenue per click, is much higher. So you can see the base for revenue per click here. It's in the 5.5, 6.7 range. So before applying your target ACOS, your bid just gets way too high. So this is generally what you can see in the bidding life cycle. So post Prime Day, your typical bid is just below $1. It's running, and then Prime Day it spikes up because it's looking at your Prime Day sales. Or if you ignore the last 2 days, it would just happen 2 days later. But it's gonna take your Prime Day sales and basically include that into the formula, and it will spike way up. Once it spikes way up, now you're bidding around $1.70. And notice how long it takes to come back down. So it's been 26 days later on the if you have a look back period that encompasses Prime Day, it takes a very long time for you to come back to where you should be. So if you're running at $1.50, maybe this is probably around $1.30, $1.20. So it takes, because it took so long to come back down, you're actually probably overbidding way more than you need to. So now we're going to go through an example of when we ignore this data. So I just ignored 2 days prior and then a couple days after, plus Prime Day itself. Same kind of calculation, figuring out the clicks, figuring out the orders. When this happens, notice the bid life cycle. So it never ever spikes past $1.50. It sticks at around $1.20, and then it stays there. Because this is technically the optimal bid in order for you to achieve this 30% ACOS based off of the conversion rate that you're running at. So that's probably why it's super important, because you don't want to be overbidding from up here, because you notice how long it took to get to $1.30 where it should be. It starts at $1.70, and then, well, you can see it up here, $1.75, and then comes down to $1.60, $1.60, $1.50, $1.50, and then just like 20 days later, it finally gets somewhat close to where it should be, which is roughly around that $1.20 mark, right? So that's probably why. So during this period, you're actually spending a lot more money and probably overbidding on targets, because the way the formula works, it uses history to form that bid. And if you are feeding that data over that look back period with excessively high seasons, it's going to make your revenue per click much higher, which then as a result, your bid gets much higher. So to combat this, you just got to pay attention to the days and make sure you're using a software or a tool when you're automating these bids to ignore days prior, the days of, and days after. And you got to apply this across all different types of seasonality. So you got Christmas, you got Valentine's Day, you got Halloween, and stuff like that. So hopefully that makes sense. If you like these types of videos, hit like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.